Hi everyone, this is a collective tarot reading for the new moon in Scorpio, which will be taking place on November 13th, that is a Monday, and it is for lightworkers. So if you want more peace, love, health, and wealth in the world, you are part of the, collective that I am presently reading for because times are tough. And this new moon is looking like a doozy, honestly. But let us see what the tarot has to say. I'm going to do a horseshoe spread as almost always. And as always, I have 3 oracle cards to the side here. You can choose which one, 2, or all 3 you resonate with, and we will get to that after the tarot reading. So let's cut the deck. I'm going to turn over all the cards and we shall see what we have. So in the past, we have the King of Wands reversed, okay? Present, Queen of Swords reversed, very interesting. Known factors is the 3 of Wands, okay? We collectively are the Page of Swords reversed, very interesting. Unknown factors, we have the 6 of Swords, nice. Advice, Queen of Pentacles. Don't hate me. If you've seen the Queen of Coins and you've seen me read the Queen of Coins, don't hate me when we get to this card, okay? This is the advice card. And potential outcomes, we have the Fool reverse. Very interesting. At the bottom of the deck, we have the 3 of Cups. Awesome. Actually, I'm going to pause the recording, stare at these cards a bit, and I will arrange the framing so they will be slightly, they will have moved slightly when we see each other again right now. All right, a couple caveats before I deliver the message. So the first thing that I want to get out of the way is, for those of you who've been watching these lunation readings, there are a lot of themes that have come up many times over and over and over again in these messages that are almost all here again. You may recognize some cards which have shown up in previous readings. The other thing that I want to point out is the court cards. It's going to be important because of the 7 cards in the reading proper, 4 of them are court cards. So I think that I should elaborate on how I'm going to read these court cards in this message. And I often read them this way because these are collective readings. As you know, or as you might know, court cards don't necessarily represent an individual. It can, but given this message, the way that I'm reading these 4 court cards specifically are as ways of being. Yeah, actually, let's address the first 2 here that we opened the reading with. So we have the King of Wands reversed and the Queen of Swords reversed. So the King of Wands, when he comes up in reverse, I often read him as resoluteness, but in the face of trying to dynamite your way through a mountain that you could just go around, that kind of thing where you're so determined to get to where you want to go by the way that you want to do it, that you're going to expend a lot more energy moving in the direction that you plan to do, but a lot slower than if you just opened up to other ways of doing things and found maybe easier, simpler ways to go to where you want to go, okay? So in that sense, it's encouraging to see him in the past, although it is possible that some of you are still here. But hopefully, first of all, if you watching this right now are still in this phase, hopefully this message isn't going to piss you off too much. And yeah, the other thing here, the Queen of Swords, when she shows up in reverse, I often read her as being afraid to speak your truth. Given everything that's happening right now, it is absolutely understandable. And that was before October 7th. The being afraid to speak your truth in public just got taken up a notch, like 50 notches. So that's interesting. Now, instead of going to the other court cards right away, I think that it's time to broaden this out into the more general message. So the reason that we may have difficulty speaking our truths And it's funny too, because I just alluded to all the excuses that people might typically come up with, because I don't think that that is what is coming into play for the people who need to hear this message. I think that the call is coming from inside the house, proverbially. I think that for those of you who have moved past the stubbornness of the King of Wands reverse here, and who are trying to experiment with new ways of speaking their truth, it can be, it's like experimenting with new ways of communicating with and relating with the world, which is represented by the Three of Wands, which I call the threshold card. It's like we know that the old way of advocacy didn't work. They got us right where we are, and it's time to find a new approach. And I think that message has come up over and over and over again in these readings, to the point where I stopped doing them for a little while because I was tired of getting the same message, but I'm happy with this. Anyway, the thing is, when we are experimenting, oh geez, these are both swords. Anyway, when we're experimenting with new ways of communicating, of new ways of relating, it can feel uneasy. And I understand, like, doing something in a new way that you're uncomfortable with, that has a higher chance of success than the old way that you are comfortable with that had no chance of success. I would encourage you to hang in there, because the new way of communicating and advocating and relating with the world and conveying the things that they need to convey to hopefully avoid the outcomes that we're all trying to avoid together, you know, that it involves a lot of trial and error. A lot of it is going to be error. Maybe all of it is going to be error. But the thing is, circling back to the old way of doing things would probably not be the thing to fall back on, you know. So that's like the new, not feeling too secure about where we're at right now vibe of the Page of Swords reversed here. And what I always say to the Page of Swords reversed is, don't underestimate yourself, and remember that the experience that has brought you to this point should be enough to carry you for the next couple steps. You know, they might not be able to carry you all the way to the goal. This isn't a king, this is a page, but it's still, you know, you might not know it all, but you know enough to take the next couple steps, is the message of encouragement in the Page of Swords reversed here. And I think that you're being invited. I love this quad so much. The Three of Cups, Three of Wands, Page, and Six of Swords. This quad, as I was staring at these cards in silence, I said I love this quad so much out loud, because I think that something I say a lot about the Six of Swords is, because there are three characters in the card traditionally, and it's... The Six of Swords is a card of changing perspectives with help. So you're either helping other people change perspectives, or you are being helped to change perspectives. Given the message here and all the context, I think you're being invited to be more, don't do anything stupid, but I think that you can afford to take more chances in how you communicate in this new way, because you might be surprised at how many people that you can catch with this. I think that once you drop the stubbornness of the King of Wands reversed here and leave it in the past where it belongs, you might be surprised at how many people that have access to you and that you have access to who are more amenable to the things that you have to say than you realize. Maybe they weren't listening to you back then, but if you've learned the lessons to come here, you can afford to take risks and make bolder moves in this new way of relating with the world, you know? That's kind of the message of this quad right here. It's, you might have more people who are more on board than you realize, and it's worth taking a shot to help them cross over, to be the boatsman, to help them, you know, cross over to calmer shores, which is a phrase that, you know, a lot of people say when the Six of Swords comes up. And now we get to the advice card. Listen, 90% of all the messages that I give in general and can be summarized in two things. Be patient, do the scary thing. And the Queen of Coins in the advice card, in the advice position here, is clearly saying to be patient, to give yourself the, like, you can afford to take risks. So when I was saying that earlier, it was basically as a warning against inaction, as a warning against stagnation. I'm trying to get you to cross over to the threshold, to get over the insecurities that you might feel, to actually take those first steps, you know? So that was the pep talk part. Now, the caveat to this is that, yeah, once, like, you gotta be ready for the first couple dozen attempts to not work. And maybe even some of them might be counterproductive. I'm not sure that is very strong in the message here. I was kind of just throwing that out there because it's a collective reading. But yeah, it's really important to be patient with yourself, be patient for others. Sometimes when people get on the boat and you kick offshore and you're in the middle of the water, some of the passengers might start missing what they left behind a lot, you know. And this is another thing that I say often. It doesn't apply here really, but the feeling is the same, which is why I thought of it just now. When you're on the verge of a major breakthrough, that's when all the little doubts and insecurities in your head are at their loudest. And that's also true when you're helping others make a breakthrough. So it's patience with yourself and patience with others, and to really focus on making sure that in your frustration, that you don't circle back into ways that you know don't work, but that you also know feel good. I've been there. I wish you could see my face right now. I've been there, all right? I get it. So yeah, it's important to be patient with yourself also, and especially with the Fool reversed as a potential outcome. The most straightforward way to read this is as a delay, as the new start will start, but not as quickly as you'd like. The proverbial we'll get to Disneyland eventually. You know, for those of you who saw my last reading, I think that came up. Anyway, oh, and there's another thing in the Fool reversed, which I don't think applies, but again, I just want to throw it out there for the minority of people which it might apply to, because one of the ways that I read the Fool reversed is one of foolishness. Now, the two main ways that I read the Fool reversed, which is either a delay in the new beginning or fear of taking the leap. Those are, of those two, I think delay in the new beginning is the more likely. It's the simplest meaning that fits the best into these cards, basically. So that's why, even though I probably spent the least amount of time talking about that meaning, that's probably the one that I think applies the most, you know? I'm weird like that sometimes. Did I leave anything? So, you know what? I'll just sum everything up and hopefully something will show up. So at the point that we're at for this new moon, at the point that we're at in the world right now, it's important to be mindful that sometimes when you're trying to persuade people in different ways, the first little errors or failures that you run into it's very tempting to run back to the past, run back to the old ways that felt good, you know. If I can't speak, I might as well roar, pointing to the lion in the background here. And I understand that, but if you want to get to Disneyland, it's really important to send out signals, if you will, and send out signals in new ways than you've done before, and sit back and see how your tribe finds you, you know? Basically the proverbial shooting up flares to see who comes wandering to your campsite, you know? That is the thing that we're being invited to focus on right now, basically. Yeah, I think that sums it up nicely. So let's go to the Oracle card portion. If you chose the Animal Spirit Oracle, your card is Elephant Spirit. Learn from the past. Oh my God. Amazing. Listen, for if those of you who needed to hear this, kudos to you for even making it this far, because you are most likely stuck in this energy. And if you made it this far, on my on the clock it says about, I don't know, about 15 minutes. Geez, kudos for you for even making it this far. But you can take this as an omen that it's time to take the lessons that you've learned from the past and use those to forge your new approach through trial and error, you know? If you chose the Wisdom of the Oracle card, your card is Breathe. Well, this is simple. So there are a couple ways to interpret this, but the main ones that come to mind are either to relax, to breathe. If you have a spiritual / meditation practice, this might be a good time to really lean on that, you know. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, breathing in the sense of setting the pace for yourself and to be patient. I know it's frustrating to hear that, and it's even more frustrating to hear that when you need to hear that. But yeah, it's important for you to remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint. And if you sprint your way, you know, as fast as you can, that's just a recipe to, you know, collapse before you even reach the finish line, right? And maybe get dragged back to the past that we are all trying to move on from, both collectively and individually, I'm sure. If you chose the Angelarium card, your card is Renth, Angel of Time. Jesus Christ, you can't make this stuff up. Okay, I'm gonna stare at this card a bit because I don't want to be too distracted by the words on the card, all right? Give me a second. Yeah, listen, I tried to find other ways to read this card because it's clear from the creator. Oh, geez, have I been out of focus this entire time? Probably not. Anyway, it's clear from the author of the creator of this deck that he wants us to come up with our own meanings. And I tried to find other ways to read this card besides a rehash of just be patient, give yourself the time to grow into the version of yourself that you need to be to get to Disneyland and to become the best boatsman that you can be, you know? But yeah, it's really hard, especially given this message, to read it any other way. So especially, you know, the Angel of Time here is poised, chilling. Yes, there is fire at the top there, but it's still a very static, relaxed, composed angel. You know, you will act when it's time to act, but for now, it's really a question of giving yourself the time to figure out how to be the best Page of Swords / Six of Swords guide that you can be to find your tribe, basically. So that is it for this reading. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give this video a like. Thank you so much for watching. You have a great couple weeks. Take care. I'll see you soon.